Thank you for joining us on Politics on Sunday. My guest today is the Executive Governor of Kaduna State, Senator Uba Sani. Welcome to the program, Your Excellency.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for letting us into your space. You know, Kaduna State is one of the states that is strategic to the development of northern Nigeria. Your state plays a significant role even in the stability of the northern Nigeria. But that state has also had its own fair share of issues, both conflict, attacks, kidnappings, and all of that. And as the Chief Security Officer of the state, a lot of people have said that since you came on board, there has been a significant reduction in all of that. But really, let me first start by asking, what has your approach been? What have you done differently that has caused that decline in the number of attacks recorded so far?
Thank you very much. What we did in Kaduna since I was elected and sworn in on the 29th of May, I think it's something that's very simple because we know the genesis of most of the problems that happen in Kaduna. Like you know, Kaduna is a very complex state with a lot of different ethnic nationalities. What I mean, a lot of ethnic groups in Kaduna. Of course, I believe we supposed to have used that as something that we will use it to develop the state, because when you have a lot of ethnic groups in the state, you can use it as a form of strength, not weakness. And that's what we've done in Kaduna at the moment, because what people want is equality, is justice. That's what we made them to understand when we came on 29th of May.
Yeah, that's true, you know, and some people have said that the reason why, you know, you went around and talking to people is because indeed you wanted their goodwill, and that you had a case in court. Your election was being challenged in court and nobody could anticipate the outcome at the Supreme Court, and that is why it appeared Governor Uba Sani was all over the place talking to people and trying to just win their hearts. And perhaps after now that the Supreme Court has affirmed your case, that you might just neglect them.
No, it's not the issue of, maybe it's an assumption by some people. You know, recall that I was in the National Assembly as a senator, and in fact, when my opponent went to court, I actually probably was the only governor that pressed my opponent for going to court. All my life, I've been a Democrat. If you look at my antecedent, I was among the people that fought for the term of democracy in Nigeria, along the likes of Chief Ganufami, even the current president, Tinubu. We fought for democracy together with him. When I was in campaign for democracy, he supported us. And of course, he funded most of the fight against military in Nigeria through our organization, that's the Campaign for Democracy, and later Joint Action Committee of Nigeria, JACON, when I was with Chief Ganufami with me. So what I can say here is that as a Democrat, I believe the only way is accepting to approach judiciary. And what my opponent did was going to judiciary. But of course, as someone that participated in the draft of the 2022 Electoral Act, for me it was clear. We won the election free and fair. There was no any form of, no any problem, because of course I knew the Electoral Act, I know everything. So when he went to tribunal, I welcomed the idea. I was never for a second worried about him going to tribunal. That's why I won at the tribunal. When he went to the Court of Appeal, I won at the Court of Appeal because I know he cannot even bring up witnesses during tribunal.
Any fear whatsoever?
Not for a second, because except the only way he can have any case is when if we will set aside the laws and throw away the Electoral Act, because it's clear. When someone challenged you at the tribunal, and he was only able to produce 4 witnesses in an election that took place in at least 8,012 polling units. That's what happened. 8,012 polling units. You're contesting gubernatorial election at the tribunal. you had only 4 witnesses. And the 4 witnesses even came from different local governments that he was contesting the election. So for me, I believe there was no any case at all, because he cannot prove it, because the reason why he could not prove it, because there was actually no any infraction in that election.
And immediately after the Supreme Court's verdict, you also extended an olive branch.
And of course, even let me even remind you, because even after the election, of course, you know, I reached out to everyone in Kaduna, both the PDP, the Labour Party, and of course the NNPP. Most of them came to work with me, even those that contested election in different political parties. They came, were working together, because from day one in Kaduna, we'll be running people-centered, inclusive, and pro-development administration. The only way to do that is by bringing every stakeholder to the table, because we believe it's not about Ubasani, it's not about personal glory. It's the glory of Kaduna State. And for me, is the key. So bringing everyone together is key. And let me even remind you, at our town hall meeting, if you could recall, Kaduna State was the only state in Nigeria that we did not even submit our budget to the State House of Assembly after we decided at the level of the Executive Council. What did we do? We took our budget to the town hall meeting, where we brought all the stakeholders, both the APC, the PDP, the Labour, trade unions, women groups, youth groups, traditional institutional religious leaders, civil rights organizations, to discuss and deliberate on the budget proposal. And I can tell you here that their inputs was incorporated in the budget before we now took it back to the Executive Council again. The letter we submitted to the State House of Assembly. So we have been running an open government in Kaduna. And part of our 7-point agenda is deepening citizens' engagement. It's the key aspect of our agenda.
Okay, one very tragic incident that shook Kaduna State, and indeed not just even northern Nigeria, the entire country, on the 3rd of December, that accidental or error bombing in Tudunbiri. You set up a committee to get inventory of all of the donations, pledges, and all of that. Now, my question is how you're helping the people in Tudunbiri build resilience. Since that incident till now, how well have the people been able to get their lives back together? And these pledges are made by different groups of people. Are they coming in? Because just 2 days ago, there was a report by a prominent newspaper saying that the senators came and promised to donate their December salary to the people of Tudunbiri. But as we speak, that is yet to happen. What is going on, and how are you ensuring that all of these get to the people of Tudunbiri beyond the headlines?
Thank you very much. When the incident happened, like you know, what we did as a government in Kaduna was first to be proactive. We believe as a government, instead of us to make so much noise, we knew what happened was unfortunate, was avoidable, certainly because that very community, that Tudunbiri community, is one of the most peaceful community in Kaduna State, I can tell you. So when the incident happened, we were all shocked. But what did we do? We were so lucky because the Kaduna State government, like I said from day one, we carried everyone along. Because of our rural transformation drive, we were able to reach out to every community, every ward in Kaduna State, even before the incident. That was what really helped us. Before the incident happened, the government reached out to every ward. We have 255 wards in Kaduna State. And we reached out to every ward, because we are working with every ward in Kaduna. Because, you know, the agenda of our government is focusing on rural areas, because we believe there's a deficit, big deficit, in terms of infrastructure between the rural and urban areas in Kaduna State. So when the incident happened, the Tudunbiri community is one of the communities we've been working with them, even before the incident. So they knew about the existence of our government. They also are aware that the government have been carrying everyone along. So they rely on us to be there for them, to support them, and to fight for justice. And that's what we did. But before doing that, first thing first, we made sure that we carry all the victims of Tudunbiri, those that were injured, to the hospital, and we took care of their hospital bills, we managed them, we gave them first-class attention and medication. Nobody lost his life in the hospital. Even about 7 of them went through a very serious operation, but they all recovered. We can thank our very resilient, focused medical personnel of our government. Now, having done that, at that time, we now quickly also look at the families of those that lost their lives because of the trauma, because they were affected emotionally, psychologically, and mentally. So we took them away from Tinubu to our shelter home owned by the Kaduna State government. We put them there, we gave them psychosocial counseling with our doctors, our psychologists. We look after them. You know, that's what we did first. And we visited the communities. I went there several times, sitting down with the community and organized many town hall meetings with them to tell them we are with them and we will fight for justice, because what do they want? Is fighting for justice. And that's what they want. They don't need anything. And while we were doing that, the federal government also came in. And Good Samaritan, a lot of Nigerians who are really worried, who believe in humanity, they came in to support our effort. Many people made donations. That is number one. Federal government also made promise to rebuild the community through Pulako initiative, headed by the Vice President.
And that was the first community to benefit from that.
That's the first community now, as we're speaking, to benefit. So, but those that promised to support the Tinubu community, what did I do? I quickly set up a committee. And in that committee, we made sure that those that were affected or affected in that very Tinubu community nominated 5 members who their families were directly affected to be part of the committee. We also brought religious leaders, we brought traditional leaders, we brought civil rights organizations, we also brought some few government officials, headed by the deputy governor. We opened an independent account because, like I said, everything that had been done to the Tinubu community is directly from Kaduna State government. We did it because we are aware that as a government, it's our responsibility to protect the lives and properties of the citizens of Kaduna State. It's a constitutional provision, which we just have to make sure that we really fulfill that aspect of the Constitution. Having done that, that committee we set up is responsible to ensure that all the contribution, the money and everything is kept in a particular account, because the money will be given directly to the people that were affected. And government, like I said, will not have the lead role. The families of those victims will be the one to decide who and who were affected. Because like I said, we will make sure that the money goes to the right people.
But not
and that's
all
why
of those monies have come in.
Like I'm saying, a lot of people made promises they have not fulfilled. But of course, like I said, the committee is chasing them, is talking to them, and I asked the committee to make sure that they reach out to everyone. And in the next 2 weeks, we'll publish the names of those that redeemed
And those
their pledge, and those that are yet to decide. I'm just giving them time. But in the next 2 weeks, because it's going to be transparent, it's going to be very open, we'll make sure that there's accountability. So in the next 2 weeks, like I said, on the 12th of February, precisely, we will publish the names of those that redeem their pledges, and those that have not redeemed, we will remind them through a publication, officially. Yeah. That's what we're going to do.
Okay, and then looking at security situation now, generally, not so many people are pleased with what is going on in the country now, not just Kaduna State. Insecurity has spread. We're seeing some in the northwestern states, northeast, even the north central, like what happened in Plateau, the Christmas Eve killings, and even the one that happened just a few days ago. It appears as if the service chiefs are still on honeymoon.
Yeah, let me make it, maybe I want to say here that I will not sit here and criticize the security agencies in Nigeria because I believe security must be looked at in different ways, because the military and other relevant security agencies are trying, but I still believe they can do more than what they are doing. Mr. President have done his best, but those responsible must step up and do what is right. But again, like I said, we have series of debates on how do we approach this issue of insecurity in Nigeria. And I believe every state has its own peculiarity. For instance, in Kaduna State, since I came, there was never any communal religious crisis. It's only about banditry, kidnappings. And so the approach people don't understand of the insecurity in the Northwest must be different from the approach that ended the insurgency in Northeast, because they have two different dimensions. Number one, insurgents in Northeast, what was their own claim is more of an ideology. They said Boko Haram religious ideology. Okay, the bandits in the Northwest is more of an economic issue. They kidnap and ask for money. Most times it's about money. So what do we do to resolve the problem? We have to first identify the genesis of those problems. Why do we have these problems now more in the Northwest? Some suggested that we should look at it by looking at the issue of kinetic and non-kinetic approach. But what is the meaning of non-kinetic approach? Is it about negotiating with the bandits? Is it about paying ransom compensation or giving money to the bandits? Or amnesty to the bandits? If you ask me, non-kinetic is beyond that. Good governance is also one of the major areas which we need to look into. Go to Northwest as we are speaking. Good governance. Good governance is the key. If you don't tackle the problem of poverty, hopelessness in some part of northern Nigeria, particularly the Northwest, we will be spending a lot of time talking about insecurity. I can tell you this point blank, that look, as we are speaking, 80 to 85% of the people that live in the Northwest are living below the poverty line. That is the level of poverty there. So and that can only change if we have good governance. And meaning, people have to step up. As a former chairman of the Senate Committee on Banking, the statistics is there. Data is, I kept telling people, nobody want to listen. About 75% of those that live in the Northwest, particularly at adult age, are completely financially excluded. People thought it's an academic statement. It's something that's very serious. If you don't attack poverty, handle the issue of education. Right now, if you look at the statistics of the out-of-school children in Nigeria, majority are from the northwestern part of Nigeria. People don't look into that area. It's very critical because lack of education, lack of economic prosperity by people who live in rural areas because they are poor, they're underprivileged, and they're underserved. Then that is the area of non-kinetic approach that must be tackled.
Okay, so Governor Ubasani, that means good governance, good governance is all-encompassing, but that means you do not subscribe to negotiating with bandits or granting them amnesty.
I just talked to you about one area of non-kinetic. Some people suggested that, look, welcome to look at discussing with some of the bandits that are willing to surrender. But I don't subscribe to the idea of giving money to bandits just because they want to surrender. Because you give them that money, because it's not an ideology, it's about economy. They will still go back knowing fully that if you ask them to surrender their weapons and give them money in returns, what it means is for them to go and get more arms and surrender again and give them more money. And don't forget, 3 years ago, when I was in the National Assembly, I sponsored a bill, an act, to amend the Firearms Act. Yeah, right. When you look at the report of the United Nations Regional Center for Arms, for Disarmament of Arms in Africa, look at that report, the UN report. You realize with me that, and you believe, in that very report, 2 years ago or 3 years ago precisely, there was an alarming report by the United Nations that about 350 million illegal arms are in circulation in sub-Saharan Africa, West Africa region precisely. And more than 70% of those illegal weapons and arms are in circulation in Nigeria.
That's frightening.
And it's frightening. And we tried to amend the Firearms Act. That was one of the efforts I made at the National Assembly.
Yes, because of time, I would like us to quickly talk on another issue now. You're the governor of Kaduna State. You said the political headquarters of northern Nigeria. Now there's been this issue in the news. And also you're the former chairman of the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance, and other financial institutions. There was this directive from the Central Bank of Nigeria urging a number of its staff to relocate to Lagos. And we're also hearing that it appears the Department of Banking Operations in the Apex Bank will be moved to Lagos, but that has caused so much controversy, and with people even saying that, well, it appears as if that move is against the interests of northern Nigeria. Some people are even asking President Bola Tinubu now to sack the governor of the CBN and all of that, all of the politicking and politicizing of this directive from the CBN. What's your own position?
Look, I think it's clear. I've listened to a lot of comments by Nigerians, but I think you see, and some even wanted to make it look like Swaju is against the North, or there's an agenda. I think most of the people making that comment were wrong. As a former chairman of the Senate Committee on Banking, I was aware that what we need at the headquarters of the central bank, as of when I was the chairman of the Committee on Banking, we then need more than 2,000 plus to work at the headquarters of the Central Bank of Nigeria. But by the time I left Senate, I can tell you we had over 4,000 workers at the headquarters. Every big man that got his child employed by Central Bank will insist that his son must work in the headquarters. Nobody wants his son to go to Damaturu, or to go to Akure, or to go to Anambra, or to go to all those states, or to go to Sokoto even. They want them to remain in the headquarters. Look, let's be very sincere about this issue. Why do we always politicize every policy of the government? That is important. For me, most of those comments were unnecessary. And for those trying to use this opportunity to attack Aswaju and Tinubu, they are not being fair, they are not sincere, and they have no data, nor do they have any record about what's happening. They don't have the statistics. They don't even know how Central Bank operates. So for me, I will not sit here to join those people talking about North or South. Look, I'm from Kaduna. The headquarters of the MBTE is a national agency. Board of Education, National Board of Education, is in Kaduna, headed by Professor Bugaji. Look, there are many institutions in Nigeria that their headquarters are not in Abuja as we're speaking. Nobody raised an issue. Nobody talked. But now people are trying to use this in just to score political points. For me, it's unnecessary. Because look, before this question, I was just explaining the problem we are facing in northern Nigeria. Can we just stop this politics and look at the basic issues that we need to quickly sit down and address? Don't take the problem of northern Nigeria and put it on the head of Aswaju Bola Tinubu. We need to look at ourselves in the mirror and ask ourselves questions before we now start blaming any other person. Our major problem, like I said, is human capital development. But today, in our country, the Minister of Education is a northerner. And for me, in Kaduna, our number one agenda is education because that's the most important thing. Even the Minister of Health is a northerner. The Minister of Defense, both state and this is they are northerners. The National Security Advisor is a northerner. When you're talking about the major issues that should bother us in northern Nigeria, is a human capital development, which the key areas is education and healthcare. And even security is very important because without security, we cannot be able to do anything. So, and they're all northerners sitting there. So talking about bringing politics into every decision of the government, for me, is being very lazy, is trying to distract the northerners, is trying to confuse the downtrodden so that they will be misinformed, misled. Let's sit down and address this problem.
Before we go, your assessment of President Tinubu's administration, a lot of people are beginning to talk about the hardship caused by the removal of fuel subsidy, the rising inflation, unemployment, and all of that. But President Tinubu's administration is saying, come, guys, chill, we have everything under control. But people are yet to see that materialize.
Let me say it clear here that I've known Asuwaju Bola Tinubu for 30 years now. Because we were very close with him at the level of fighting for the improvement of democracy in Nigeria. When I was in the campaign for democracy, he funded our effort, he supported us. He made all the sacrifice and lost his freedom at that time because of his belief in democracy, in justice, in rule of law. Many people misunderstood Asuwaju Bola Tinubu. And I'm urging people to give him the benefit of the doubt and support him. Because so far he has started very well. Most of these reforms are very difficult because he inherited a system that was broken completely. We need someone to fix it. And to fix it, we must take difficult decisions. And removal of the fuel subsidy is the best thing that could happen to this country. Because who are benefiting? Very few Nigerians benefiting. And Asuwaju now decided to say, look, let's do this thing for the best interest of everyone in Nigeria. As a governor of Kaduna State, without the fuel subsidy, I can't even pay salary in Nigeria. And who were benefiting? Very few Nigerians, are more than 100 or 200, benefiting from subsidy. That's number one. Number two.
Is that why FAC has gone up now with the removal of fuel subsidy?
Look, every serious governor should be able to do something for his own people. Good. And that is the development. You have to work for your people. And this work must be done from the bottom, from local government. Local governments, you can tell them, they are getting more money. States are getting more money. And this elimination of multiple exchange rate, that people say the dollar has gone up, it's a matter of time. It will come down. And I know why. Because when Asuwaju came in, completely, they have eroded our foreign reserve. Nothing was there. I was the chairman committee of banking. A lot of people that do not even deserve to get support or given any support in terms of forest allocation, who manufacture nothing, export nothing, they are the ones that kept getting the money and running around with the money. But the real manufacturers, the real people that are supposed to add value to the economy are not getting anything. So for a president to say, I am eliminating multiple exchange rate, is the height of commitment, sacrifice, and believing that, look, it's not about the interest of very few people around me who will want that to continue so that they can benefit. It's about Nigeria.
Governor Uba Sani, Executive Governor of Kaduna State, speaking with us on issues in Kaduna State and indeed Nigeria as a whole. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your time on the program. Well, that's all on the program this week. You can watch this episode again on TVC News YouTube channel. My name is Femi Akonde. Thank you for watching.